Welcome back to Concise Community Medicine Exam Preparatory Revision video with me Kavit Tandal. Today we'll be seeing about an important disease from communicable disease, that is plague. This is part 1. Before that, if you have not subscribed our channel, do subscribe for more interesting videos like this, and as well press the bell icon so that you will receive a daily video notification. Today we'll be seeing about the epidemiological factors in plague, flea and its indices, and plague in rodents. One important thing I want to say here is the spelling of plague. It is PLAGUE. We should never change this because G, if it turns out to be Q, then the entire meaning of the word changes. It becomes a block. So we are most careful with the spelling. Before we actually go to topic proper, the important essence of the topic I am going to say now, get it now. So what is happening is, one important thing is the causative organism is Yersinia pestis. This Yersinia pestis is the one which is going to cause the infection plague. Rat fleas are acting as the vectors. Regarding this rat fleas identification, we have discussed in entomology, and the video link is in the description to check it out. So these rat fleas are now going to infect the rodents. These rodents are isovirus. So these rodents are basically wild and commercial rodent or domestic rodents. From these wild rodents, the important one is Tartara indica, which is the most important and main reservoir of plague. Now, after this wild rodent, there are commensal rodent or domestic rodents. Example: Rattus rattus or Rattus norvegicus and Mus musculus. Then, from the commensal rodent, there is a zoonotic infection of human. But this order doesn't happen regularly. There can be direct contact of fleas with human, or the wild rodents with human, or as like normal commensal rodent with human, or the human has direct contact with the rat flea, the wild rodent, and the commensal rodent. Anything can happen. So this is what is actual a cycle going on. Now, if you have a doubt that where is this Yersinia pestis coming from, and they're causing all of these catastrophes, it is this: the infected rodent or flea, and in case of pneumonic plague are the causes for this Yersinia pestis to come out. Now, another important question is, is this present? That is, where are the infected rodents, flea, or pneumonic plague present, or is that really present? For that question, we'll be seeing about something called the natural foci of the disease. Let us see now. Before we actually go to topic proper, we'll see zoonosis, epizootics, and enzootics. Very simple. Zoonosis is infection from vertebrate animals to man, especially anthropozoonosis. They say that from animal to human. Now, on the next is zooanthroponosis. It is from humans to animals. Amphizoonosis is from animals to humans and humans to animals, vice versa. Infection can transmit. Epizootics is an outbreak of disease in an animal population, and enzootic is endemic occurring in animals. Epizootic is epidemic. That's all. Now coming to the epidemiological factors. We know agent, host, and environment are the epidemiological factors. Coming to agent, we know it is Yersinia pestis, causative organism. Reservoir is the rodents, especially the wild rodent, Tattara indica. And source of infection, we have already discussed that it could be from rat flea getting infected from the another infected rat flea, rodent, or a case of pneumonic plague. These are actually the sources of infection. Now coming back to the host, all age people, all gender are equally affected. Contact with natural foci. This contact with natural foci I've already discussed. It is from the flea to human or human to flea or flea to rodent, rodent to human, and so on. There is no innate immunity, but actually the immunity here is the acquired immunity after infection. Environmentally, we speaking about the September to May month is actually called a plague season in North India, not in South India, only North India. Plague season is September to May. One important thing: 25 degrees Celsius, 20 to 25 degrees Celsius, and 60% relative humidity are the important factors for the bacteria to grow. Remember this because we'll be discussing soon about this. Then human dwellings, if at all a place where there are more rodents, in that place is more risk of getting this infection plague, especially rural, because in rural area there will be field. In that field there will be more rats, and there will be rural areas are common to get plague outbreak. Next, in heavy rainfall, see, heavy rainfall will flood the burrow, and there is flooding of burrow. There is no rat burrow, and thereby there is decreased risk of outbreak of the plague. That's it. This is all the epidemiological factors. Now coming to flea and index. Regarding flea, we already discussed in the video, and the link is in the description to again check it out. The common organism here is the Yersinia pestis. This Yersinia pestis is in the vector that is Cynophacilla chiopis. This is the most efficient vector, and there is Pulex irritant. This Pulex irritant is a human flea. The both male and female flea will bite. Here it's noted. Next is what is flea index. We know there are different types of flea. First is the total flea index, that is average number of fleas per rat. Average number of fleas per rat. Next is Chopis index. This is the most important of all index. Remember, average number of Chopis per rat. It is very specific, so it is actually the specific flea index, also called as, and it is very significant. Why it is significant is because this is the most efficient vector, yeah. So it is most significant index. If at all there is more than one, this indicates, this index more than one indicates there is plague outbreak. Remember this. Next is specific percentage of flea. They say that they express in percentage, and there's different species of fleas per rat. Next is burrow index. Remember, we know the fleas are attached to the rat, but we are relating the flea into the burrow. That means there are some free living fleas. These free living fleas species will be present per rodent burrow, and this is what is called as burrow index. There are some free living fleas. So now coming to the plague in rodents, we know rodents are wild and domestic rodents. Wild rodents, it is wild plague, and domestic rodent, it is domestic plague. Wild rodent will be mostly in the wild fleas, and wild rodent in forest, right? So there is, this cycle is independent of human population. That's all. If at all a rodent is surviving from this, then that is actually acting as an enzoonotic. That is, this infected rodent will spread the infection to other rodents, wild rodents. That is called as enzoonotic cycle. And next is domestic plague. Domestic plague will be involving humans because this is domestic. There is a potential threat of this turning to be an epidemic to be noted. And how is this process is taking place? That is called epizootic process. Very simple. Now the field rodent is now infected by this wild rodent. So this field rodent will be spreading the disease very slow from burrow to burrow and field to field. This slow disease spread ultimately will cause ultimately rodent plague. So what happens is, this is the rodent and this is the flea which is sitting on the rodent. Because of rodent plague, this flea will die. Now, as this rat is dying, the flea will migrate to the humans for food. It will reach the human for food, and thereby that causes human plague. This is what is epizootic process in plague. What is called natural foci, we are speaking a lot of time. See, natural foci of plague is a strictly delimited area where the ecological condition ensure that there is persistent of the etiological agent as in a pestis for considerable period of time, and where the epizootics and period of quiescence alternate. Now we are seeing what is this period of quiescence. We'll now see. But another important thing, remember, there is without introduction of infection, there is alternate quiescence and epizootics. This is called natural foci. Now, what is the reason for nasal foci? One of the most important reason is 4-year survival rate of rat flea in the burrow. Because rat flea is one of the important component in the plague cycle. So, rat flea living for 4 years will be a nasal foci, contributing to nasal foci. Other causes could be latent infection in rodents, because some rodents will go hibernate. After hibernation, they spread disease. So, there is latent infection in rodents. Next is plague persistent resistant rodents. Some rodents will be more resistant. They develop immunity, and that will be in zoonotic cycle, as we have seen earlier. Varied pathogenicity of Yersinia pestis. We know there will be mutation in the bacteria and so on. And then bacterial multiplication in burrow soil, which we've already said. Now this 25 degrees Celsius and the 60 degree relative humidity are the important factors which is making the bacteria to multiply in the burrow soil, adding on a factor cause for natural foci. Next, coming to what is silent period or quiescence in plague. For some long time, there's no plague. We should never think that this is so long, there is no risk for plague. No, because there is something called quiescent stage or silent period in plague. This is because bacteria will multiply in soil of rat burrow. There can be reintroduction of infected flea or rodent. These are the two important reasons where that contributes to silent period. The silent period can be even for more than or equal to 10 years, and after that there is sudden outbreak of rodent or human plague. That's all. This is called a silent period in plague or quiescence in plague. Now, plague in rodents is as similar as in humans, but some are resistant. That's it. The rest of which will continue in tomorrow's video. Thank you so much for your patient listening.